Hello, my name is Suzanne Price. Welcome back to this episode of Powering Down the Fear Machine. In this video, I'm actually going to follow up on a comment I made in the first video when I spoke about the fact that it almost seems as though our planet is currently under a blanket of fear. This is actually a very important subject because it is almost as if that is the case. So I'm going to explain how that happened, how it has affected us, how it can continue to affect us if we don't change it, and how we can change it. So basically, in order to understand this, it's really important to understand a few things about fear. One of which is that fear is an energy. Every thought, every feeling has an energy or a frequency to it. It has a vibration to it. In fact, they have even been calibrated, and fear is said to have a vibration or frequency of 100, whereas something like courage would be 200 and love would be 600. The reason that it's so important, I believe it's so important that people understand this, is because there is basically a tipping point, and it's got to do with human consciousness, and that tipping point is sort of the 200 mark. So when people are in low level emotions or low level states, they're vibrating at a low energy frequency. When people are in a higher vibration, of course, or a higher emotion and in higher states, they are vibrating at a much more favorable and higher frequency. The tipping point is about 200, and most people calibrate way less than that, especially now with fear on the planet. So, as I was saying, the lowest that I know of, I believe, is shame. The lowest emotion calibrated is shame, and its vibration or the frequency of its vibration is 30 hertz. And then there's a few more, and then we've got fear at 100, so still very low. And then we've got the tipping point, which is about 200, which puts us into a higher level of consciousness. So the reason that this is important to know is that you've heard me talk about the heart a lot. And I've written about the heart quite a lot as well. I've got 2 books coming out, and it's to do with heart frequencies because it is so important. So I never was consciously aware of this. So I've actually learned some stuff recently from an organization called Heart Math, and I'm all about sharing information and knowledge. So I would highly recommend that you check that out. And what they do a whole lot of different things. And I took a course with them last year, and it was, I believe it was the first time they'd ever done this, and it was about global coherence. And so I'll tell you a little bit more about that in a few minutes. I'm getting ahead of myself a little bit here. But anyways, they state it very well in Heart Math, is that we actually, every thought and every feeling has a vibration or a frequency to it. We generate electromagnetic fields, energy fields, through our heart, also our brain, and I believe all of our organs, but the heart generates the largest frequency. In fact, science now, if you're the type of person that needs scientific evidence for everything, they are now able to measure this frequency around the human body at 3 feet, to 3 feet around the body. It goes way beyond that, I believe, or there's certain, elements that go way beyond that, but it can be measured at 3 feet around the human body. The thing that's really important to know is our vibrational frequencies are emitted out into the world through this energetic frequency that's generated by the heart. So if you've ever met somebody that you think has got good vibes or bad vibes, you're actually not only just picking up on the visual cues of their body language and that sort of thing, but also you are actually picking up unconsciously, but now you'll be able to do it consciously because now you are aware of this, but you're also picking up on the energetic vibrations or the energetic signature which they're putting out into the universe. So we are all doing this on a constant basis. And so what's happening is that we are affecting people around us. We're affecting people that we think about. We're affecting people. We can affect people at a distance. So whether we are feeling positive or, at a good vibrational rate or negative, we are putting that stuff, we are putting all that energy out there, and everybody else is doing the same thing as well. And then guess what? We're also bringing that in. We're attracting in similar vibrations that's also out there in the universe. Okay, so that's very, very important to understand, because when you consider the amount of fear that's on the planet right now because of what's gone on since the rollout of the pandemic event, you can just imagine this constant flow of fear being pushed out into the atmosphere and into the universe and into the universal energy field. And then other people who are in fear are also attracting it back in. So it's almost like getting stuck, or like I say, trapped under a blanket. So the good thing is, though, is we can change this. We have the power to change this. And it's really, really, really important that we do. I also want to point out something else. You may have noticed, it depends on how in tune you are with the planet and with nature and everything else, but back in 2018, 2019, beginning of 2020, our planet was thriving. In fact, just after the lockdowns happened, a lot of videos were coming out on different platforms like YouTube showing the bees making a comeback. We were noticing that the plants and the trees were blooming and growing like crazy, like we've never seen before. And I think what happened was, I think that we were really, because our planet is ascending, our planet is going through an ascension, and humanity is going through an ascension. So we were naturally raising our energy, the planet's energy was raising, and we were all starting to thrive on an energetic level. And then all of a sudden, that human consciousness took a massive hit when the pandemic event was rolled out, because of the amount of fear that was being spewed out through the media on a constant basis. So people were going into fear. Not everybody. And I say not everybody because not everybody is that tuned in to the media. So because what they do, or like what I do, I rely on my intuition more. So I also want to mention something else that Heart Math talks about. It's called, they call it heart brain coherence or resonance. Now, I've written about this in my books when I've written about how I suffered with anxiety and panic attacks, and it just seemed to come out of the blue. And I haven't yet made a video on it, but to cut a long story short, this literally did come out of the blue. There didn't seem to be any reason why I was suffering with it. I couldn't overcome it. I couldn't pinpoint why any of this had happened, and it took a long time. And it wasn't really until after I really started to overcome the symptoms, and I was doing a lot of the training with the mind-body therapies, and I was starting to doing the writing and stuff, that it dawned on me that what had really happened for me was that I had become disconnected, out of alignment, or disconnected from my heart. And the way that happened for me, it can happen in so many ways, but the way it happened for me was I had actually grown up in Wales. I had horses, I had a good job, I had friends, and I had a really nice lifestyle. And then I moved to Canada with my family. And so all of that changed. And I didn't really think about it too much at the time. And it took a few years of me trying to recreate a new life, reinvent myself. And I felt like I was constantly searching and searching. And I was getting all these roadblocks put up in front of me. It was like, it's really quite different in the way that there's so many rules and regulations that we didn't have in Wales. And so it just felt like there was a lot of roadblocks, and I found it really difficult to find that really sort of centered, aligned place in my life. And this was something I hadn't even ever had to think about before. So, like I say, it took me about 10 years to really realize what had caused it. And it was because I had been in what HeartMath calls alignment or resonance. And like I say, it was so natural to me that I wasn't even aware of it. Not until I was no longer in that alignment. And then, so basically, when I say I became disconnected from my heart, I was no longer living that true purpose. I was no longer living with that passion and purpose and meaning in my life. And I was searching outside of myself. I was searching for other things to try and make my life work. And I'm sure that probably it sounds familiar to a lot of people, because people typically are always searching outside themselves for happiness or whatever they're looking for. And so, anyways, I had become disconnected from who I truly was at the core. I'd become disconnected from the life that I loved and everything that I had loved. And so, basically, because the heart is associated with things like courage, love, of course, wisdom, compassion, caring, all of those attributes are also associated with spirituality. And I'd never considered myself to be a spiritual person either. I mean, I just didn't practice it. I never thought of going to yoga or anything like that. I did not think of myself as a spiritual person. But because I had become disconnected from my heart, and I become disconnected from those core attributes that were so innate to me and so in alignment for me, sort of through my childhood and my teenage years and that sort of thing, I literally had become disconnected from my heart, disconnected from the universe. We connect to each other through the energy of our heart. We connect to the universe through the energy of our heart. We connect to ourselves through our hearts, like through our core, through that's who we really are when we are really in alignment with our core and our being. So I had become disconnected. So basically, I was now, instead of living with these high emotional states and these high emotional vibrations, I was constantly meeting all these obstacles, and there was a lot of negativity. And, so then obviously I mean, I suffered with a lot of disappointment and doubt, because it didn't seem that I could find what I was looking for in life anymore. I didn't even know what I was looking for. And so I had become disconnected, and obviously I was then living in much lower vibrational states. I'm telling you this because this is what has happened to so many people now. It is very, very, very relevant. And I know it sounds so different to so many people, because when we think of things like fear and stress and anxiety and panic attacks and depression, it's only ever spoken about, really, especially through the medical industry, or if you hear about it on the news or mainstream or Western medicine. It's always spoken about as if it's a mental health or a mental illness issue. The energetic side is never addressed. The spiritual side of it is never addressed, not in the mainstream stuff. And it is so huge. So the fact of the matter is what's happened is so many people now are literally swimming in this sea of negative energy. And the law of attraction, not as in the commercial things that you've heard about, but like attracts like. So you're attracting more of that negativity and more of that low energy into your body and into your life. And this is why so many people are stuck. So we've got people that are disconnected from their hearts. We've got people that are, and this is, I would say, the masses, are living in a very low vibrational state. They're attracting more in, and it is almost as though, because we are putting this all out into the universe, and our planet is a living, breathing, conscious system. It's affecting the planet as well. It's affecting everything. So it is super, 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 super important that you really do become very proactive in making the changes, whatever changes are necessary, to reconnect with your heart, to lift your spirits, to be able to rise above your fears. So remember, fear is 100, courage is 200, and positive vibrations above. So you need to rise above your fears. We need to quell the fears, dispel the fears, which is what I'm doing with a lot of the other videos when I'm talking about things, to dispel or to share ideas that you may not have even heard about. Because right now, the other thing that happens when people are in fear is we get very narrow-minded and we focus, and everybody's focusing on whatever they're fearful about and become very overwhelmed. And it's very, very difficult to get out of that. So we need to change our vibrations. We can also, if you're watching this and you are somebody who's aware of this and somebody who knows how to lift your vibrations, we also need to make it our business and make it one of our missions in life to help lift the spirits of others, so that they don't have to know. People do not have to know this. We can just do it. We can go out. We rise our own spirits. We go out with a positive attitude, not a fake positive attitude, but think about things that you care about. Think about things that you're passionate about. When you see what's going on with other people, feel compassion for them and try and help get back into your body, instead of thinking about what a victim you are or looking for ways to defend all this negativity that you've heard. Like I've said before, you see something on the news or you are told something, you believe it. We have a habit then to look for things that are going to justify what our beliefs are. We have to get our heads out of the box. We have to start thinking outside the box, and we need to raise our energy, and then we need to go out. And as we emanate that positive energy, then it's going to positively affect other people. We need to rise above our fears, and we need to all collectively work on raising the energetic frequency on the planet and helping to lift this blanket of fear, because that's really what it's like. It is an energy, but like I say, we are trading, we're putting it out there, we're all trading it and bringing it in and putting it out there constantly. So let's change it so that we are putting out positive energy. The other thing is that on my book, I showed you my books the other day. On the top, I've got a warning sign. It says, warning, stress may be hazardous to your health. Same with fear, because the fact of the matter is stress and fear and anxiety, it lowers your immune system. So I am saying this not to frighten you. I am saying this to inspire you to take responsibility and not just do something to mask it, not drinking or taking drugs or anything else to mask it, but learning how to manage your life in a way that the stress and fear can manage itself, and being really open-minded about listening to other people's opinions, getting into conversations. We need to really turn things around. We've got a lot of problems on the planet right now. We've got a lot of people separated. Humanity's never been as divided before, and we can reverse this all. We can reverse this all, and we can change the energy, and we can lift this whole blanket of fear, but we do all need to do this on a conscious level, and we need to do it on a continuous level. And when I say conscious level, I mean being aware of our thoughts, being aware of what we're doing, being aware of what we are assimilating and taking in, and really questioning things, and just look outside. I mean, you don't need to wake up in the morning and check on an app to see if you stop breathing in the night, which I know a lot of people do, as ridiculous as it sounds. Would you not just look in the mirror and say, oh my God, I'm still alive, perfect, that's great, and start getting back into your body, pay attention to your intuition. We need to stop depending on technology so much, and we need to stop depending on what is being stuffed into our heads all day long, because like I've said in other videos, our brains do not know the difference between what is real or what is imagined or what is true or what is false. And so in other words, our brains can be very gullible and trick us into remaining stressed and stuck. We've been in this situation now for 2 years. We have to get out of this, and we got to do it ourselves, and we need to do it together. So please share this information. Please work on thinking about being caring, being compassionate. What can you do for others? How can you lift other people's spirits? Take care of yourself. Drink lots of water. Get out in nature and live with compassion and reconnect with your heart. Anyways, I'm going to end this video for now. Thank you for watching again. I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.